Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. We're going to be starting chapter 6 in St.Germain, Earth's Birth Changes, channeled through Azina Ramanda. And chapter 7 is questions and answers. And we're going to talk about a plethora of topics in this questions and answers chapter. Mantras and meditations, auras, karma. We're going to talk about some controversial things like AIDS, illness, lots of different things. And this section, this chapter 7 of questions and answers, is quite lengthy. So I will probably be breaking it up into about 2 or 3 videos, simply because it's just a lot of information and it's a lot to read. So let's go ahead and get started with the first part of chapter 7, titled Questions and Answers, just very simply titled. So the first topic is on mantras and meditation. Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Wondrous, splendid, illustrious light. Glowing. Truly, it is an honor to bask in this illumination. So how may I help you this day in your time? Question. St.Germain, could you tell me something about mantras and the effects words have? Mantras are merely vibrations of a certain frequency which resonate within your soul essence. A mantra carries with it harmonious tonal qualities, each one having its own frequency. Therefore, a mantra is a combination of frequencies. For example, the word Amarush. That one brings forward the God essence within your heart seal. There are others that bring forth the solar plexus energy because of the specific frequency of those vibrations. This that you know of as tonal qualities, the Om, for example, would in a vocal manner vibrate the molecules and the atoms within your etheric being, within the auric field. It is in this manner that it becomes more powerful, and it resonates even more so unto the soul essence, part of the identical frequency within your being. Therefore, when it is uttered, it is very powerful. It is not necessary, however, to do this in a ritualistic form or dogmatic understanding, for as you do this, you present yourself with limitation. It is a tool, much as your crystals, not to be given the power, for the power is you, but to be used as an assistance in your own unfoldment. So it is the sound of the mantra itself, indeed. The spiritual essence that resonates to that tone is merely the identical frequency vibration. You bring forward part of your own soul essence, part of the Lord God of your totality that resonates to that frequency. So someone says, so if I say a mantra, I just call on a certain aspect of my soul? Indeed, to bring it forward unto you, to cast the light of it within you. Was this helpful for you? And they say, yes, thank you. And then another question. Meditating on a daily basis, will it open me up and bring me closer to myself? Meditation, what you call the practice of quieting yourself, the chatter within you, in order to hear the true you. You see, your life is one large meditation. You are walking within different meditative states upon this plane. Frustration within you, irritation with circumstances that you have presented yourself with, etc. They are all meditative states of a sort. In order to come into a harmonious understanding of all that life as simply being, and not simply being within the meditation, which is routine, which is ritual, understanding that you may bring this feeling unto you, the knowingness, this quietude at any time you choose. It need not be during an outward quietude, for the silence is within, it is not without. You may have any manner of distraction and still have your meditative state. And when you come into this understanding, you will realize it is not once a day, it is the eternal now. So really, it just happens naturally, and I always thought I had to meditate. This is what someone is saying. And he says, as you become quiet within yourself during a certain period of the day, then it will eventually progress naturally and spill over into the rest of your life. Therefore, the dance of your life will become one eternal meditation. Question. What if I want to go faster? I wish that there was something I could do to accelerate. The desire to press forward in urgency will retard your birth into more unfoldment, into more of your light essence being with you. Pressing forward causes a retardation of that birthing process. It riots against you, as it were. The natural unfoldment requires no state of urgency when you are within a harmonious understanding and alignment with that which is, regardless of whether it measures up to what you would decide that it should be, for that is judgment. You see, that which is. It is not too late, nor is it too early. It is at the right and proper time. And I really like that he says that, because there are a lot of things that are coming about as far as a lot of children being diagnosed with ADHD and other learning disabilities. And a lot of scientists and a lot of doctors and a lot of people in this, I guess, in this area of studying the human brain and the development of the brain are figuring out that much of the issues that children can have today is because they're rushed to doing things. So as soon as a baby lifts up its head, we put it on tummy time. As soon as they're on tummy time, we want to hurry up and help them to crawl. And then as soon as they crawl, we want to hurry up and help them to walk. And then as soon as they start walking, we want to encourage them to run. So we never just allow things to naturally happen. And then we have parents that panic because their children are not hitting these milestones when they should. And of course, for certain issues and for certain things, I can certainly understand that if a lot of time has gone by and there's been a regression or no growth at all, but we are in a hurry from the start. And if I wish to goodness that I would have known these things when my children were little, because I was one of those parents that was always like, okay, now say mama. You said dada, now say mama. Now say ball, now say dog. Never appreciating and just sticking with what they were ready for, and thinking that by accelerating it and by moving it forward, they were such a smart baby. They were such an advanced walker, an advanced runner, an advanced eater, whatever the case may be. When in reality, slowing down and being still and just letting things to unfold at a slower pace and in a more natural way is better for our brains. And I think he's saying the same thing, that there are a lot of people in the spiritual community that I do see that spend an amazing amount of time doing all of these rituals and meditating. And they think that, by spending all this time doing that, that's going to accelerate their spiritual growth. And it might feel like it for a time, but sometimes sitting still and just being, especially if you're feeling a spiritual burnout, is the best thing for you. So never, ever ignore what your gut is telling you. If you just need to slow down, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of these suggestions of things that you should do to be a better and more spiritual person, understand that the life you live and walk in every day, every thought you have, every choice you make, every move you make, that is your spiritual journey. It is who you are that is your spiritual journey. And I have to remind myself of that a lot, and you may have to also. But if you needed that permission to slow down, let me give it to you, because I have to give myself permission to do the same. You don't have to do all the things to be considered somebody that is mindful, somebody that is whatever it is that you're striving to be on this, in this life and right now here in your life. So I really like that he's not pushing in the direction that maybe some people might expect somebody or an entity of this enlightenment to push it in. Okay. Now here's the next question. I feel limited by the fact that I cannot see the God that I am. I realize I have to go through certain experiences to open up, to fully understand. And I feel limited by that, and I do not like that. So that's more of a statement, and he's gonna talk about that. Sorry, I always have a hair that just seems in the incorrect spot that picks up on video. Okay. The dissatisfaction with things as they are unfolding is dissatisfaction with decisions that have been made at your own soul level to be presented unto you. You are dissatisfied with yourself, with your God self. You are out of sync, as it were. Limitation within your own outward circumstances need not be so. When you feel this way, my dear, you need only come to the understanding and the enlightenment that your light is magnanimous. It is always giving unto you, and it is handing you on a silver platter these experiences to garnish the wisdom from, to gather unto you more understanding for the benefit of not only your own soul essence, but that of the source and the ever-expanding awareness of all that is. And you as part of that. Impatience within your perception is merely lack of understanding of your divinity. For as you become aware of this and know that you are truly God manifest, then you will know that all is possible and no thing is a limitation to you. If you would desire it fervently and heartily, there is no thing you cannot do that you would desire to do. This is a concept that perplexes many of you, but it is not for you to fret and furrow your brow about. For all occurs as it occurs for the reasons your soul essence deems proper and right for you. You are never off the path, for the path is you, and you can never be off yourself. It may appear to you that you are taken a tangent by way, as it were. However, this will take you unto the scenic route, where you may gather the fruit of the vine on the way, and sniff and smell the fragrance of the honeysuckle. You may watch small wildlife scurrying toward the branch, or you may take the expressway, which has very little scenery. Question: what is the expressway? It takes an entity but a moment to gather the knowingness, the wisdom of its own divinity, and the divinity of all life. And I speak not only of entities, I speak of all life. The towering trees, the purple hue of mountains, the glorious ball called sun. Also mineral and inanimate objects. It is all consciousness. When you love it unconditionally, as you will love your own soul essence, in but a moment, less than you could measure, you are in the void of the understanding of all that is. You are one unified whole, the totality of all that is, the God creative force. And in that state of being, you recognize no separation, no division whatsoever from yourself, as you perceive yourself to be at this point of your time, and God, all that is. Therefore, there is no male or female, no personality, for that is all separation. You see, it is all eternal. As you come into the awareness of what you call seventh density understanding, that is merging with the all that is, ascension as it were, then you may lower your vibration to experience the physical. You may also have experience upon other non-physical dimensions with a bit of a lower frequency vibration. You may go to other realms, to other dimensions. You may create universes. When you have a consciousness that is part of the all that is one with it, that knows no separation from it, you may do as you choose, for it is omnipotent. Question: how does one learn to traverse gracefully these vibrational spaces? It is not a learning, it is a knowing. And when you reach the point where this decision will be made, there will be no question. The same as an entity would do from seventh density coming to this plane by merely bringing an understanding into focus, manifesting divine thought essence. On auras. Question: as you look around at our souls and our auras, can you describe some to us? And he says, it is possible, but why should I take your power away from you? You may look at yourselves. Practice looking at yourself, your true self, to see what is not here as your physical being is teaching you to walk as though you were an infant. And the question is, so how would you teach me to realize that? So how would you teach me to see someone's aura or to even see your own? Gaze at another about 6 inches above their head. Relax your eyes. Your vision is not concentrated, it is relaxed, almost not focused at all. Gaze into the beyond, what is not there. You will begin to see a light manifest across the body you are looking at. It will be a yellowish blue light. It will be about 1 inch in your terms around the body. You will begin to see the physical part of the body disappear, and you will begin to see the blue corona around the entity, the etheric body. As soon as you see it and look at it as a curious being, it will disappear. However, continue being unfocused above the head and it will reappear. The need for proof makes that which you desire proof of disappear. As you gaze, other colors will appear if you remain relaxed. You may practice it with a flower, with a person, with an animal. On karma. Would you talk to us about karma, please? There is no such thing, really. It is a limited perception. But when you proceed into the tapestry of the all that is, all occurs simultaneously, the past, the present, and the future alike. And if all is simultaneously, which came first? There is never a debt to pay, there is a divinity to be. It is merely an expression of acknowledgement that you do indeed experience all polarities as you come into the unity and harmony of the I amness of you. All polarities are required to be experienced in whatever dimension, so that you acknowledge that emotion, so that you burst it forth to be released into all that is. Else it would continue to be placed before you because it has not been embraced by you yet. Question. Given the misunderstanding that we refer to as karma, is it possible for one entity to take on another entity's karma? What you perceive as karma is cause and effect. If you are not part of the same soul essence as that of the other entity, there is no involvement with what you call cause and effect, which is really non-existent in the grander picture, in the totality of things. Because that would indicate time difference, a time lapse. As you perceive cause and effect, you see, when it is simultaneous, you do not know which came first. So which is truly the effect? Therefore, the entity that would be part of your own soul essence would have a similar understanding and similarly garnish wisdom that would be desired to be obtained. For it is not karma, it is merely involving yourself in circumstances and presenting your life existence with certain situations, so that you may gain experience and knowingness from this. Take from it what it has within it, and then you may release the circumstances forever. There is no perception of debt or that you did something that was erroneous in your past and that you therefore must bring forth repayment for that debt that was created at that point in time. This is not so. However, it is so that each entity has experienced both being the slayer and the slayee, the perpetrator and the perpetratee, for the purpose of knowing what each existence has within it in emotion, for the purpose of completing the total understanding of human experience. If you were only the slayer and never the slayee, then you would only understand what it is to be a tyrant. If it was the reverse, you would only understand what it is to be a victim. And in the understanding of both, you have the knowingness within you of compassion and sympathy for each, understanding from whence this entity came. Therefore, unconditional love for each, no judgment here. You will dispense with judgment when you have understanding of each. This process occurs simultaneously in both directions of the spectrum, in the grander scheme of things. So there really truly is no debt to pay to the universe. There is only being in the hearty understanding of the joy of a God, indeed. Now we have a question or a statement. I would like a clarification of reincarnation and what to experience to learn. You said there is no past or future. I am quite confused. Realize, my dear, that past, present, and future, all being simultaneous, is an unlimited concept. It is attempting to be digested by a limited mind. Your karma suggests that there is a time differentiation between your lifespans. One occurs after another, therefore balance must occur. If all is simultaneous, there is no need for balance, for all is occurring at once, and the balance is also concurrent. In this incarnational system that you have termed it to be, it is merely your limitation of time. In this three-dimensional world, time is a factor. And of course, being part of the dimension itself, it has to be considered when speaking with you and teaching you your self-master. However, your incarnations, as you term them to be, are not for fulfilling your debts on past lives. They are merely for experience and grander experiences and expanding your own knowledge and wisdom from within. That's going to blow a lot of people's mind. A greater part of the spiritual community is convinced of exactly the opposite of what St.Germain has just said. So take that as you will. If you hold that as your truth, exactly the opposite of what he just said is that we are here to pay our karmic debts and we're going to pay for this in our next life and this and that. When in reality, he's saying that you are here to be the slayer and the slayee so that you can live it and experience it, is a very different viewpoint from what the majority of these gurus and teachers and all this information online. It just goes to show that, you know what, at the end of the day, no matter how much we think we know, we really never really know. And then when we do know, we're not here anymore on this physical plane to share it. And when we do, it may be called fantastical or fake, like a channeling, or it may be skewed or looked at as not real. And then we come back and we don't remember. So it's like a grand cosmic joke. Okay. All right. The balance is already there, for a God cannot be unbalanced, and your grander self is a God. You yourself are that, but you are unknowing of it consciously at this time. Therefore, you set limitations for yourself and incarnate multitudinous times upon this your earth, and other planets and systems and realms and dimensions as well. It is not to pay off a debt. It is to experience more, so that you have an understanding of what it is to be both the slayer and the slayee, the perpetrator and the one that is perpetrated against. It is to understand, to know, and capture and garnish that emotional wisdom. And once captured, you have within your soul all of the knowledge of that experience that is necessary, and you go on. However, it all occurs simultaneously, and that is the unlimitedness, the lack of karma. There is no cause and effect, for cause and effect is based upon a time differentiation, a space between the cause and effect. Lacking that, there is no cause and effect. It is all one. All experience is one, for all life is one. And in a manner of speaking, that is where the Akashic records are, the one all-inclusive record without time and space. Pages got stuck here. Your future, your now. You are affecting your future and your past with your present, so it is all one. Consider your reels of pictures, 3 of them, one being your past, one your present, and one your future, all overlaid and running at the same time. So here we have another question or statement. Seems like there would not be a lot of order. I have a feeling we would be quite multidimensional. Of course, it is multidimensional. It is unlimited. However, there are multitudinous lives that you live in your past, that you live in your present. You have lived in your past and you will live in your future in your terms. You have thousands of lifetimes to consider. Confusion, as you would consider it to be, all overlaid pictures, not differentiating one from another, is merely co-fusion. Fusion with all into the all in all. And the person says, thank you, I will think about that. And he says, it is much to contemplate. And indeed it is. Okay, let's see if we can read another little bit. So on spirit, soul, and oversoul. That's the topic. Question, how does or where does a spirit or a soul come from? I guess what I'm trying to say is the original consciousness. Did we just diverge off of one entity, or are we that one entity? That is part of the grand paradox. There is a grand creative life force that is the source that you call God. It is the all in all, the all that is. It is in everything and everywhere. As an aspect of that, each consciousness is also that divine creative force. It is a part of that. In other words, in time past, as you term past to be, your creative force, the source, desired further experience, and being the omnipotent energy that it is, it created for itself, expressions that could afford it those experiences it desired. Thus were born your souls, as you would call them, your oversouls. Those particular oversouls desired for themselves further expression, for they were too concentrated to diverge into matter, into 3-dimension. There was too much energy, so they decided for themselves to coagulate into dense physical matter. In doing so, they divided themselves into entities, as you would term them to be, each having a part of that oversoul as its soul. Realizing the soul came from and is part of the source, it is all one, and yet it is not. That is the paradox. There are other entities beside you who are part of your oversoul. You are merely an aspect of that oversoul, but you are grand and divine in and of yourself. So then, would my goal be to consciously realize myself as the oversoul? Can I actually become the consciousness of the oversoul? You certainly can, my brother, and as soon as you do that, you will no longer be physical. So that is basically what humanity is attempting to realize, the consciousness of this oversoul, not of the oversoul, of the source itself. The oversoul is merely a stepping stone, as you would term it to be. And to further complicate matters, my brother, the source is one of many sources. And there's the next question. All right, so there are a number of soul families involved also. That is the oversoul I speak of. You see, the source is ever-changing, ever-expanding, and growing in its wisdom and experience. And your source, as you term it to be, is merely a stepping stone into a grander source, and a grander, so even more grand. That is where your universes are born. So that is the physical expression of an oversoul then? Not of an oversoul, of a source. You see, an oversoul is merely your soul family, as you would term it. Your soul families make up your source. So many of those are incarnated at any one time. So many of your soul families indeed. So he's agreeing. How does one's higher self relate to the oversoul? There is no higher self, or there is no higher or lower self. It is all one. There is no differentiation of better or worse. You speak of your grander self, your spirit. Your spirit is always there, even in you at this moment in your time. Your spirit is that which occasions you to breathe. The spirit is the life force within you that beats your heart, that operates your lungs. That is your spirit. Is that part of the oversoul? It is part of your entire God self. Your soul and your spirit are different. Your spirit is what allows you to operate in your body. It is merely the energy body that surrounds your physical body and is within your physical body. Your soul is part of the oversoul and the source that carries forth with it your soul memories, your experiences, your wisdom, your compassion, your love. Together they make up you. By the way, the expression gut feeling came from your solar plexus. That is where your soul resides. Very interesting. So this source then, was this always a being? Of course it was, for there is no time. How come then it would desire more experience? Is it not everything that is conceivable? It is everything that is conceivable. However, it has not experienced everything it has conceived of experiencing. In order to do that, we fulfill that desire. That is why we are extensions of the source. We are its arms and legs, as it were, doing for it what in its amorphous state cannot do. It can, however, with us. That is why we are all so divine, you see. Is it a little like getting bored and looking for other things to do? I know it is not the same thing, but that is a child's explanation. It will suffice for now. That is grand. It is grand to have a child's concept and openness. It makes it easier to conceive. If there is no karma, why are these people born in situations such as in Africa, where they are starving to death? Has the source not experienced enough of that yet? Great question. You see, the source does not interfere with human free will. It is those entities' will that chooses that experience for whatever reason. It may be inconceivable to you as an individual at this time why they would choose that for themselves, but there are lessons to be learned. Okay, so let me take a look and see what we have left here, because we're going on 30 minutes. And as I said, this chapter is full of really interesting topics. We're going to talk about Jesus. We're going to talk about cancer. We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about fourth density, drugs, the inner earth people, ascension and levels of densities. Ooh, let's see. This is a lot of stuff he's sharing. And we're going to talk about St.Germain, the entity of St.Germain. Yeah, so I think this is going to be probably 3 different videos here. Okay, so we're going to stop right there since that completes that topic, and then we'll pick up on the next topics in the second part of probably this 3-part video or 3-part segment for chapter 7. So that was a lot to work with and a lot to take in, as usual with this book in particular. And then we'll just finish up the next 2 chapters in the next 2 videos. And maybe we might be able to do the whole rest of the chapter in the next video. We'll see how long that runs us. So we'll stop right there for now. And as usual and as always, please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. Please like, subscribe, share if you feel that somebody may be interested in this, especially. This really does help my videos and my channel get out there for other people to reach and see. I love to share this information with anybody who's interested, and I like to read it and just allow the reader or the listener to experience it as if they were listening themselves. And so I really don't like to throw too much of my opinion in there as far as what I really think of what I'm reading, because I also have to take it in as well. And it's so important for all of us to do that and to really practice discernment and what we want to take and what we want to leave aside, and then what we really have to think on, because I think there's all sorts of categories. So thank you again so much for joining me. I love reading these to you guys. This is a really fascinating book. I hope that you are enjoying it as much as I am. And until next time, take care. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.